Chris Bumstead is the most popular bodybuilder in the current era. Though he was not an open bodybuilder, he competed in the Classic Physique division of Mr. Olympia, dominating the category as a 6-time champion. Looking back at his professional journey, Chris earned his pro card at the 2016 North American Championships, competing as a heavyweight in men's open bodybuilding. At the time he turned pro, a new division called Classic Physique was emerging. This division emphasized good symmetry, proportions, and pleasing lines with a small waist, focusing less on having big muscles and appearing huge on stage. The division also had weight limits based on the height of the competitors. Chris Bumstead, who had a pleasing physique that almost perfectly matched these criteria, decided to switch divisions and made his pro debut in Classic Physique at the Diana Cadieux Classic held in Miami Beach, Florida. He placed third behind Terence Charles, who won the show, and Terence Ruffin, who came second. Chris did not qualify for Mr. Olympia that year, but in 2017, he won the Prague Pro and Toronto Pro, earning his qualification for the 2017 Classic Physique Olympia. In his Olympia debut, Chris placed second, with Brian Ainsley becoming the new champion, and Danny Hester, the inaugural Classic Physique Olympia champion, placing fifth. Chris had the best shape overall compared to other competitors, and the audience cheered for him, amazed by his physique. Chris had entered the competition hoping for a top 5 finish, but placing second was beyond his expectations, making him the second best Classic Physique bodybuilder in the world. This achievement motivated him even further as he advanced in his career. The following year, in 2018, Chris was already qualified for the Mr. Olympia. After his second place finish the year prior, he gave his body time to grow while maintaining a look he needed for Classic Physique. Standing at 6 feet 1 inches tall with a tiny waist, Chris reminded many of golden era bodybuilders. At the 2018 Mr. Olympia, he again placed second behind Brian Ainsley, who became a 2-time champion. However, the competition was much closer this time, with Brian defeating Chris by just 1 point. While Chris had the overall better physique, Brian's superior conditioning gave him the edge. Many people were already predicting that Chris's physique would become the standard for Classic Physique. Brian, who was shorter and a former 212 bodybuilding competitor, had a different structure compared to Chris's aesthetic frame. Chris took the entire year off and returned better and improved at the 2019 Mr. Olympia, where he defeated Brian to become the new Classic Physique Olympia champion. From that point on, Chris continued to improve each year, setting the standard for Classic Physique and becoming a 6-time Classic Physique Olympia champion from 2019 to 2024. During that period, he gained immense popularity of nearly 26 million followers on Instagram and 4 million on YouTube. Despite not competing in open bodybuilding, which is typically the face of the sport, Chris became the greatest ambassador of bodybuilding. His massive fan base admired his physique, personality, and the path he paved for future competitors. Throughout his reign as a champion, Chris battled against top competitors, including Brian Ainsley, Raymond Dino, Terence Ruffin, Urs Klesinski, and Mike Sommerfeld. Though they all gave their best, no one succeeded in dethroning him. After the 2024 Mr. Olympia, Chris announced his retirement from Classic Physique at just 29 years old, while still at his peak and undefeated. There has been much speculations over the past 2 years about Chris transitioning to open bodybuilding, as fans wanted to see him compete against top open competitors. His sudden retirement left many fans with unanswered questions. However, 2 weeks after the 2024 Mr. Olympia, Chris announced that he would make his open bodybuilding pro debut at the 2024 Prague Pro, marking it as his final competition ever. This decision was a way of giving back to his fans, and he also personally wanted to compete as an open bodybuilder at a professional level, having earned his pro card in open bodybuilding back in 2016. During his prep for the Prague Pro, Chris's physique looked better than ever, as he no longer needed to worry about the weight limits of Classic Physique. Fans were thrilled to see him compete in the open division. However, the competition in Prague was tough, as Martin Fitzwater, who placed 4th at the 2024 Mr. Olympia in open bodybuilding, had also confirmed his participation. Many fans rooted for Chris to win, but Chris himself admitted that defeating Martin would be challenging. Martin's dense muscle and fully filled out frame, which are essential for top open bodybuilders, gave him an advantage. Though Chris had a better structure, he still needed more time to fill out his frame to be fully competitive in open bodybuilding. On competition day, Chris brought his absolute best, adding more fullness to his physique while maintaining his trademark conditioning. Meanwhile, Martin did not look as sharp as he did at the Olympia, but still posed a significant threat. Sean Clarida, a former 2-time 212 Olympia champion and runner-up in last 2 Mr. Olympias, also competed, making it a battle of 3 competitors from different divisions. The competition was intense, with multiple rounds rounds, signaling a close contest, especially between Chris and Martin. In the end, Martin Fitzwater emerged victorious, defending his division. Chris placed second, with Sean Clarida taking third. Though Chris did not win, it was a proud and fitting way for him to retire, as he delivered a performance that did not disappoint his fans. Chris Bumstead has set the standard for classic physique, transitioning from an unknown competitor who placed second in his first Mr. Olympia to becoming an undisputed six-time champion. He remains one of the greatest ambassadors of bodybuilding, redefining the classic physique division for future competitors.